Careful. Droid, you better watch your manners. There ain't a drink that can put old Gus down. No. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh overview. Today we're going to take a look at the Medicom MAFEX Star Wars The Mandalorian IG-11. Medicom with their timely releases. Hey, I'm just happy to see a new MAFEX figure come out. And while I already have the SH Figuarts IG-11, I thought, one, I'll give the MAFEX a try, but more importantly, two, whoever loses the IG-11 spot in my main display, that gets customized into an IG-88, hopefully. Looking at it, it's going to be it's a close race. Looking at the package, it's your standard MAFEX fare. Big window showing you what's inside, the instructions just mucking up the works back there. Graphics, words, those same words on the side with another pretty promotional picture. On the back, even more of those pictures showing you what it can do, what it comes with. That creep. They took the bear away. Why, Medicom? On the other side, there's your words, there's your picture. Up on top, more words, more picture, a little bit of window. On the bottom, legalese, warnings, choking hazard. Don't put them in your mouth. Take the tray out, and yeah, there's that picture in the back that was just totally covered by instructions and warnings. Oh no, another thing that says, hey, certifying genuine product. That's some nice artwork though. Oh, and along with all that, there's the stand taped to the back. And I guess they're doing it with all the MAFEX releases. There's the tried and true stand with the articulation points, screws in case you need to tighten them up, and they are always loose out of the package. Then there's the clamp on the end. But then there's also this stick that you can put in there, and then put either that, whatever that is, and that, I guess for flight mode maybe? Or there's this, if you just want to use the up clamp. Why are you making this childproof or something? Oh, taking off the bandolier. There's also removing the chest piece so you can put in the self-destruct, putting on the Grogu basket, and then changing out the hands and different accessories for the serving tray. Succeed! Medicom, very nice IG-11, but there is some fiddliness. In fact, when I first got it out of the package, I thought, well, this is essentially the SH Figuarts slightly shrunk down and then simplified. And I hate to say simplified because there's some things that work better than the SH Figuarts, but some things that don't work quite as well. First off though, just look at this sculpt. It is damn accurate, which it should be, being a few years late, but at the same time, that's just how Medicom operates. They take their time. They don't really strike when the iron's hot. They like to make sure, well, for the most part, that things are accurate. They're not looking to be first. They're just looking to make their stuff look nice. It's hard to describe what's going on here, though. There's some metal and some metal stuff, and then some more metal stuff up here, and look at this metal. These hoses are a separate piece that are flexible. They get out of the way of articulation, but they didn't go the Hasbro route where they made these rubber covers for the articulation. You can see the pin right there, and then the break in the middle. But honestly, I'd rather see it like this. I'm not going to be tearing something up when I go to pose it. There's also the patina. It's not just clean silver metal. There's like a wash over it to make it look aged a bit, and different colors in different spots. There's almost a copperish color here. Bronzish. It's not silver like this. It's more apparent here on the arms. It's definitely a different color on the tubey parts than it is the hand or the shoulder. Well, I said shoulder. The shoulder is a different color too than the body, I guess. Although there is some of that color right here on the torso on both sides. Oh, and now that I look, the shoulders are actually coming back down to this color. Another hose running across the abdomen to those tubes that are there, around to the back where there's more cylinders and more tubes and more metal and more robot stuff. Is that a peg on his ass? And then the same thing at the head, just unmistakably IG unit. There is some red paint there in the dots, and again, that patina, that metal finish. Now, it may surprise some people, but I haven't run into any major QC issues. What do you mean, Robo? All MAFEX have QC issues. And you would think with some of these parts being as thin as they are, that it would be trouble. Let's just say that. And at first you are kind of, oh, don't push too hard. It's so thin. Everything has stayed together. I am slightly worried right here at the wrist joint. Focus. Don't you get back in there. The wrist joint is separating just slightly. And as I'm changing out the hands, oh, there we go. That's about it. That's the only part I'm really worried about at the moment. Also, this swappable chest piece under here, it is a little loose. I don't know if they did it on purpose to make it, well, of course it's not going to do it now. Come out, you little shit. After I oh, you hear that? That's that. There you go, right there. Peg is just a little small, but I've noticed, and we'll get to this in accessories, that once you plug the self-destruct thermal detonator thing in, that is super tight. What that'll come down to is me adding a little glue or something to the peg, letting it dry, thickening it up slightly, And when I plug it in, it should be tighter. When it's in normal position with the bandolier over it, you can still hear it, but it's not going to fall out because there's something in front of it. That's how the real world works. Okay, well, there is one articulation point that's weird. There's a ball in the mid-torso, but it's really tiny, and there's flatness here and here. So when you pop it together, all it really does is turn side to side. What you have down here, so... But comparing articulation to the SH Figuarts, and did I already blow the scale comparison? There's certain things that the MAFEX does better, and there's certain things the SH Figuarts does better. First, that mid-torso is just as bad on the SHF. But they put this kick-ass neck hinge right there, just integrated right into the sculpt, where you can look down or you can look up. The MAFEX does not have that. In fact, I'm sure if I pop that off, it's a ball joint like mid-torso. The sculpt was right there. MAFEX has the same move the eyes separately gimmick. Same thing with what I'm calling the mouth, but it's really just holes on the bottom. And then the centerpiece is connected to the top here, so you can turn the whole thing. SHF adds another tumbler to it with this spinny part here. Then the eyes do this, and the mouth does this. Well, is the mouth? Oh yeah, mouth is still separate too, but you can still turn the whole head. On the Figuarts, the elbows go to here and the knee goes to here. I'm gonna put that right there just so you can keep a visual on it. The MAFEX, the elbow does this and the knee does this, which helps out a lot when you put it on the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series speeder bike. The Bandai could do it too, but the Medicom does it a lot more natural. But while we're talking about articulation, let's go through, well, half of what I just showed you. Again, the main head can turn side to side. The eyes, or what I'm assuming are the eyes, turn differently from the rest. And then the cake-holes are separate too. Shoulders pinned in, rotates all the way around. That hinges out within that assembly to 90. There is a bicep swivel. Like I just showed the elbow. There's a swivel right here where you can turn the whole assembly. Then there's a hinge side to side unless you want to turn this and move this, and then you can go up and down. We talked about the mid-torso. It is essentially just a swivel side to side. Same thing here at the hips. Drop down hip, which I just found as I was doing this. You can go into here. Allows for a kick forward and back, and it doesn't help without much. There's a ball on the outside of that that rotates, but then there's also a swivel within that cover there. Hinge at the knee comes up. Oh man, he can almost kick. Then there's rotation above the ankle. Hinge that goes back. Had to look at pictures to make sure that's the front, but that goes to there. Then there's a hinge side to side for tilt. For accessories, there are several sets of hands. There's a closed grip hand. There's a set of open grip hands, set of trigger fingers, set of wide open hands, and then a set of hands with pegs in the palms. Those are easy enough to just pop off. There's not actually a mushroom peg. It's mostly friction. It's a tight fit. And then each set of hands has this, which I absolutely love. Not only does it keep each set of hands together, it also keeps the hole in the right size so it pops on easy. There is flexiness to the fingers, so the open grip hands, you can open it up, grab whatever you want. Same thing for the more open grip hands too. And it's the same for the trigger finger hands. Trigger finger hands means weapons, and we get this rifle, which is a standard for IG-11, and then this blaster, which is standard for this and a whole lot of other characters. Unfortunately, the grip is really loose. You can keep the rifle in the hand with the trigger, putting it through the trigger guard, but even then, it's kind of floppy. You shush. But the blaster's even worse. You get to here and you try to pose it around, it just kind of... And then these hands have a very specific purpose. The set comes with a serving tray, which we haven't seen in action figure form yet. Just has texture right there. Pretty plain all the way around. Nice paint job. It really ages it up. Then on the other side, there's those two holes. It's a neat effect. To go along with that, there's this bottle. Put it right on the tray. And then 3 of these tumblers. Again, nice age effect on the outside. So there's that, and that, and that. At first, I thought the closed hand that came on the figure was for the tumblers, but it's actually for this, in case you want a serving droid, you know, pour it. And then the smaller open grip hands, those hold the glasses really well. Now it shows to remove the bandolier if you want to swap that centerpiece out, but really, if you do this and bring this up to here, you can get at it mostly. And just plug the piece with the exposed thermal detonator into there. Much tighter fit, and you're ready for self-destruct. Finally, there is also Grogu in the carrying pouch. Look how happy he is to just be riding along. But then there's these painted buckles, these silver studs running up on that. And you know me, I love stuff like that. The instructions say to unpeg it in the middle and kind of flex it open, but if you do this, and then kind of turn the eyes to the side to where that's like that, it actually flexes open on those pegs and get around the shoulders. Once you do that, it just comes right off. Well, maybe there is slight tilt, but not much. And then for this, instead of the figure arts route where they want you to pop the head off and everything, you just do this. Put it around the neck and then plug it back in. Matches up perfectly with the Grogu that came with the Mandalorian too. Just different facial expression. And it lays a lot more natural than the pouch that came with the figure arts because you had to fit a separate Grogu in there. That's molded in there. That's not coming out. It's not articulated either. There's nothing you can do with it other than this, but it was made specifically for this. Then putting the bandolier back on, you just thread it through like it's any other kind of jacket. Well, that was way faster than I've been doing it. This stands at about 7 3/8 up to the tippy top of the head, which is larger than the Black Series, but smaller than the SH Figure Arts. Now, there is some debate, some conflicting reports about how large these should be. You go through the show, he looks large in places, smaller in others. You're just gonna have to pick your poison. But anything's better than this one. This is going to look great next to any Mando you pick. Most of the companies that made a 1/12 scale Din Djarin made them about the same size, like the Medicom MAFEX or the Bandai SH Figure Arts, or your Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Mando and Quill. You got to replace the head and the cape though. So at the end of the day, again, very nice IG-11 Medicom. I love how far they went with the joints at the elbows, the knees, and the wrists. Oh, and then the drop down hips. It makes the figure a lot more dynamic, but without any kind of crunch or neck up and down. It still limits it. You can do all that stuff, but he's either looking at the ground or just off into space. Still though, after years of thinking that this droid was going to be cumbersome on the battlefield, it's nice to know, especially, well, from the show and the action figures, that it can do a whole lot more than that. As far as which one goes on the shelf, the extra paint apps on the figure arts, it makes me think IG-11. This being more silver and metally makes me think IG-88. So at some point, I think I'm going to convert this one to IG-88. It's nothing against it. I think it just has a better start than the other one. I feel like the MAFEX would require way less paint. It's already in mostly that base color. The figure arts has kind of that ceramic look in places, that IG-11 look. Am I just talking in circles here? If you missed out on the SH figure arts, this will fill your IG-11 position fantastically. If you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus if you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. In fact, given the size of these hands, and I'm still holding the IG-11 from Hasbro, but it looks like that would be about the right size. Then I'd just have to work on a bandolier. I may use that, but change out the strap. Who knows? Colors are pretty damn close.